Welcome back. We're you know what that sound means. All right, we got. This is describe what makes this book unique. We got a special book.
It looks like it's made of wood.
Yeah, it's called Treasured Thoughts for All Seasons.
Yeah, and fancy.
But it's
cool
like wood grain vinyl.
Yeah,
and it's got gold.
Bunch of gold.
It's got like old English text in gold.
And
but then it's like a binder for some reason.
Yeah, it's got gold screws.
There's like screws in the. I don't think there's any glue in the binding. I think it's all just like. I don't know. It's like some cookbooks or maybe like this or something. It kind of feels
like the kind of book you'd like if you were to like check in somewhere.
Yeah.
That kind of book. Somewhere where you'd sign into something.
Yeah, it's some kind of log book, but it's pretty big. Sort of a binder.
It does feel like
part binder, part book. But it's got all of these. It's Treasured Thoughts for All Seasons. Compiled by Miriam C. Hunter with illustrations from Currier and Ives. So it's a fun book. It's got a lot of cool like little poems and stuff. I'll read this from the compiler, and then we'll get into winter because it's winter here. Well, for those who like that sort of thing, Abe Lincoln once commented sagely, I think that is the sort of thing they would like, which is exactly the sort of thing that might fittingly be said about this anthology. The reader for whom that sort of thing is the classical poet may seek out choice selections by Shakespeare, Blake, Browning, and other favorites. Okay, why are the sentences bad? These sentences are bad to read. I don't know why those were...
They don't sound great.
They didn't sound good. Another, recalling a favorite first line, may look for that fine old narrative poem that begins, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere," and goes on in stirring phrases that still start the blood pulsing 2 centuries after that celebrated gallop. Still another may want a book which, opened at random, provides interesting reading on every page.
Yes.
That's exactly what we want. I do want that book. That's exactly what we want.
That's the book I'd like.
The anthologist necessarily... Yeah, these are like not complete sentences.
This is the compiler who wrote this,
This is the compiler of the book in March 29th, 1979.
Not a good writer, great compiler.
Yeah, they did some good compiling, so we see why. Because that's like not, I don't know, there's some weird verb tense happening or something. The anthologist necessarily making personal selections wants the reader to enjoy them and hopefully to concur in the criteria by which they were chosen. Nature and love traditionally being the 2 most popular themes with poets. They are well represented in these pages, but so are fun and games, death, and taxes, and a myriad of other interests. Isn't it myriad?
Myriad.
Don't you say, is it a myriad or myriad?
I don't know.
I think it's just myriad.
Myriad, but I might be,
That's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about the pronunciation of it. I'm saying people say... There is a myriad of reasons, or there are myriad reasons why. I don't think you say a myriad.
You just say myriad reasons.
Yeah, I don't think there's an article, but could be wrong. I forget if that's one that I do it wrong. Or it's one of those ones where I'm like, saying a myriad sounds right, but I think it's the opposite. And other interested activities and states of being that have prompted comment by the bards over the years. With tributes to nature being addressed primarily to specific seasons and love and such like appropriate to any or all of them, the book has been organized into sections representing spring, summer, winter, autumn, and winter. Nature poems sing about the beauty of various seasons of the year, beginning with spring buds, through summer showers to autumn's harvest, and finally to the melancholy days of winter. The love poems can be enjoyed by anyone in or out of that euphoric state. Old favorites like, "If thou must love me, let it be for naught, except for love's sweet sake only." And maybe perhaps less familiar, "Girl of the red mouth, love me, love me." The many humorous poems, some with delightful surprise endings, should prompt the reader to smile and turn the page to read another. Included are verses about food and other everyday problems, as well as some about babies, home, and contentment. Poems for all tastes and all seasons.
I'm interested in the fun and games.
We saw that there was a list of baseball player nicknames, but
there's also death and taxes.
Do you want to do any of these? Don't read any of the. Don't read the ones that are called February or March yet.
Of course. I'll read. You want me to start? Should I go with the big one or this?
Whatever.
This
I mean, maybe do the little one and then the big one.
January is here.
Who's it by? We don't know.
Edgar Fawcett.
Okay.
January is here, with eyes that keenly glow, a frost-mailed warrior striding a shadowy steed of snow.
Whoa. He's a frost-mailed?
He's frost-mailed, and he's a warrior.
I think you get plus 3 on attacks with frost-mail. Could be wrong.
That is sort of like a blessing.
I quit frost-mail.
Winter Time by Robert Louis Stevenson. Louis Stevenson.
He did Treasure Island.
Oh, it's him. Okay. It's a real guy.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Late lies the wintry sun abed, a frosty, fiery, sleepy head. Blinks but an hour or two, and then a blood-red orange sets again. Before the stars have left the skies, at morning in the dark I rise, and shivering in my nakedness, by the cold candle bathe and dress. He gets horny. He gets horny a little.
in January. In my nakedness.
At morning in the dark I rise.
Because it's dark, yeah.
And he's all naked, and then he gets dressed by the cold candle.
Yeah, but he lives in London probably, so...
Yeah. Winter Portrait. Robert Southey. Southy? Southey? Just Southey?
I don't know.
A wrinkled, crabbed man, they picture thee, old winter with a rugged beard as gray,
right.
As the long moss upon the apple tree, blue-lipped, an ice drop at thy sharp blue nose, clothes muffled up and on thy dreary way, plodding alone through sleet and drifting snow, they should have drawn thee by the high-leaped hearth. Old winter, seated in thy great armed chair, watching the children at their Christmas mirth. I don't really like the rhythm of that one. I kind of messed it up, but
yeah, it's hard to know what's gonna happen.
Old winter sitting in the armchair. Do you think he's looking? Yeah. Do you imagine him as an old guy?
I don't really. It's the thing where as I'm listening to these, and I go, I guess I don't know winter. I guess I'm not really familiar with winter.
Winter, the wind blows high, the wind blows low. The buried praises in the snow lie warm and deep. Safe under winter's soft white wing, a little seedling dreams of spring, stirs in its sleep. The wind has gone and softly come small furry friends from a drifted home, hungry, affright. The mark of tiny footsteps show, like frozen music notes on snow, all silent, white. Mary Baldwin.
Whoa, Mary Baldwin.
Yeah, small furry friends from drifted
homes. Or they thought they were flurry.
They're furry.
Oh.
So they're like animals.
I liked when they were flurries.
Small flurry friends.
Alright, let me go.
Go for it. That was all on the first page of winter.
I'm gonna hit this one that's called The New Year.
Sweet.
Horatio Nelson Powers. A flower unblown. A book unread. A tree with fruit unharvested. A path untrod. A house whose rooms lack yet the heart's divine perfumes. This is the year that for you waits beyond tomorrow's mystic gates.
Wow, a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
A lot of stuff undiscovered.
Yeah. Okay, and then this says The Watch Gone. And I think this is just a little intro. I don't know what this part is or who wrote this. So, at midnight on New Year's Eve, the Japanese watch gong rings 108 times to purge each person of the 108 human weaknesses described in Buddhist teachings.
Well,
that's it for the watch.
The watch gong,
and it's not by anybody. It's just some fun New Year's tidbits. What else do we got here? We got Do You Fear the Wind? Okay, this is Do You Fear the Wind?
I guess I'm not that scared of the wind here in Texas.
Hamlin Garland.
Yeah.
Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain? Go face them and fight them. Be savage again. Go hungry and cold like the wolf. Go wade like the crane. The palms of your hands will thicken. The skin of your cheek will tan. You'll grow ragged and weary and swarthy, but you'll walk like a man.
Well,
Don't really. What do you mean by that? So this is an old rhyme referring to St. Barnabas Day, the summer solstice, and St. Lucy's Day, the winter solstice, okay? Barnaby bright, the longest day and the shortest night. Lucy light, the shortest day and the longest night.
wow. That one just sounded fun. I don't really...
Barnaby bright, the longest day and the shortest night. Lucy light, the shortest day and the longest night.
Whoa, the solstices.
Solstice.
Solstice. The solstice.
Solstice. Well,
Wow.
let's see if we got any other good type. What do we got?
I
Winter.
missed the solstice.
A dirge.
I totally forgot the solstice happened. I missed it this year.
Yeah, it'll sneak up on you.
It'd be good to do something every year for it. It'd be funny to start doing like a personal tradition for the solstice.
You have to.
Every year I sleep through the solstice.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. Okay, this is So White, So Soft, So Sweet by Ben Jonson.
So white, so soft. So who are they talking about?
Snow.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Have you seen but a bright lily grow before rude hands have touched it? Have you marked but the fall of the snow before the soil hath smutched it? Have you felt the wool of the beaver or the swan's down ever?
No.
Or have smelt, the bud of the briar or the nard in the fire? Or have tasted the bag of the bee?
I wish it.
Oh, so white, oh, so soft, oh, so sweet is she.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, he's talking about that Mi Espresso, I think.
So white, so soft, so sweet.
Okay, this is a quote by Orson Welles. I hate television. I hate it as much as peanuts, but I can't stop eating peanuts.
Nice.
We like watching TV in the winter.
TV, yeah.
We like watching TV in the winter.
That's true.
Because we have to be inside.
Because you have to be inside. I like poems about being inside.
Yeah.
About spending most of the day inside a place and not leaving. Sitting by the fire.
Right. Classic.
They gotta have stuff like that.
I'm trying to think see which ones might be the best for you. Yeah, this one seems good. You should read Midwinter.
Yeah, the big one in the front.
Midwinter.
Midwinter. John Townsend Trowbridge.
And I got the dictionary.
Okay, in case we come across anything.
If you need it.
We'll see.
These have all been pretty crazy.
Normal.
Yeah.
A lot of rhymes. A lot of
baby mode.
Pretty easy rhymes that kids would like.
Yeah, and you gotta watch for those if there's a rhyme where you have to force it.
Yeah, or you have to slant rhyme.
Or you just have to say it British or whatever to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Either. You know.
The speckled sky is dim with snow. The light flakes falter and fall slow.
This happened yesterday.
At Worth the hilltop wrapped in pale silently drops a silvery veil, and all the valley is shut in by flickering curtains gray and thin.
Nice, we love being inside.
But cheerily the chickadee singeth to me on fence and tree.
Fence.
And tree.
On fence and tree.
That's where the chickadee sits usually.
Where are you? You haven't been on fence and tree lately.
I
haven't seen you on fence and tree.
The snow sails round him as he sings, white as the down of angels' wings. I watch the snowflakes as they fall on bank and briar and broken wall.
Okay, they were talking about the briar before. What do you think briar is?
I think it's like... I started thinking of what it might be, and then I started describing a bank, like on a river. But maybe it's like...
I think there's thorns. I think it's like thorny weeds.
I'm going to guess it's a parking lot.
Okay.
I'm going to say Briar's a parking lot.
B-R-I?
E-R.
E-R?
B-R-I-E-R.
I think it's thorny. Like the briar patch, you know?
I mean, that sounds right.
But that is like, is that with an A or something, though? So briar... Okay. A plant.
Okay.
With a woody and thorny or prickly stem. But then we have number 2. A heath of southern Europe whose roots and knotted stems are used to make briar tobacco pipes. Oh, I know those. Okay, so that's not the same. That's a different briar thing. But I think they're talking about the first one.
It's like woody twigs.
But what is it with an A? It's just, thorny vines.
Yeah.
God, is there briar with an A?
That seems like a word.
Oh, here's briar with an A.
What is it?
It says variation of briar with an E. And then the second one is a tobacco pipe made from the root or stem of a briar. I was thinking about briar pipes, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, is that...
Is that what Sherlock Holmes used?
It's a lot of British... I think it's Irishish or something. I don't know. I bet he did. It's definitely one they don't mention other pipes, usually, like what they're made. Unless it's like a corncob pipe or something.
I guess, are there briar trees? Are there a bunch of briar trees?
So this is what the briar is.
It's its own plant, or it's like...
So it's a heather. Okay, let me look up what heather is.
I don't know.
That might be a parking lot. That's closer to a parking lot.
A heather.
A heather. Heathen. Nice. Okay, heather. Heath. A common Eurasian heath. Small, crowded sessile leaves and racemes of tiny, usually purplish pink flowers. That did not help at all.
It seems like it's nature related.
Yeah, it's a nature-y thing. Yeah. I thought they would really...
Nature and love, the two things poets love.
The bards.
The bards.
What the bards write of.
Right, of nature and love.
We're sort of, checking in what the bards have to say. So we got the briars, alright?
Yeah. On the bank and briar and broken wall. That's where the snowflakes fall.
Yeah.
Over the orchard waste and brown, all noiselessly they settle down, tipping the apple boughs, but B-O-U-G-H-S.
Like when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall.
Oh, right, tipping the apple bough.
You know.
The bough.
I think you can say however, I don't know what the...
I guess I didn't really know the lyrics to that until you said, when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall.
But that's what you make a bow from, I think. I'm saying, like...
Is it about when the branch breaks, the cradle will fall? Has it always been bow? And I've just never thought about it.
When the bow breaks.
Yeah, when the bow breaks. Tipping the apple boughs, and each light quivering twig of plum and peach. On turf and curb and bower roof.
Turf and curb.
You guys know.
Come to our new food truck.
Sandwich shop.
It's called Turf and Curb.
And Bower Roof.
It's behind Bower Roof.
It's behind Bower Roof. Come to Turf and Curb behind Bower Roof.
Come through. We're doing a pop-up.
Stop by the smoke shop, Ivory Wolf. On Turf and Curb and Bower Roof, the snowstorm spread its ivory woof. It paves with pearl the garden walk, and lovingly round tattered stalk, and shivering stem its magic weaves, a mantle fair as lily leaves.
Wow.
So the snow's getting everywhere. Snowstorm's going crazy.
With a mantle, it's like wearing a little...
A mantle fair as lily leaves.
Mantle means they got like a little dress on, like a little cape, right?
Sounds right.
A mantle, you know what I mean?
A mantle fair
Like they're wearing a little cape.
Yeah.
Is that what a mantle is?
That sounds right.
But
Like,
is that what he's saying?
I don't know. A mantle fair as lily leaves. And lovingly round tattered stalk.
A loose, sleeveless garment worn over clothes. A cloak.
Stem, its magic weaves. A mantle fair as lily leaves. Okay, yeah. So
something that covers, enfolds, or
the
envelops.
snow is the mantle of the leaves.
Yeah.
And of the walk, and of the garden walk, and the turf and curb and bower roof.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting it. The hooded beehive, small and low, stands like a maiden in the snow. Right. And the old door slab is half hid under an alabaster lid. What's an alabaster again?
Is white.
Oh, it's just the color white.
It's like...
That makes sense.
I think it's a white stone. You know what I mean? Like ebony. It's the opposite of ebony. It's like ivory, but a stone maybe, sort of, or like marble.
That makes sense.
It's very early in the dictionary, which is cool.
Allah.
It's very early. Let's see. A compact, fine-textured, usually white and translucent gypsum, often carved into vases or ornaments.
Yep, that sounds like pretty much what you described.
Yeah, but it's sort of a marble thing.
All day it snows, the sheeted post gleams in the dimness like a ghost. All day the blasted oak has stood, a muffled wizard of the wood. Garland,
you muffled wizard of the wood.
Garland and airy cap adorn the sumac and wayside thorn. Sumach.
It's a tree.
Right.
But
I think you're right.
Let me look it up. But is it thorny?
There's a wayside thorn involved.
Yeah, I think it's thorny. It'll say if it's thorny in the dictionary.
It makes sense that the airy cap is adorned on.
Because there's like sumac. Where do I know sumac from? Sumac. It's like a street name somewhere.
It sounds right.
Stellar wind is in the dictionary. That's cool. Stick shift.
I guess you do have to you do learn a lot about nature when you're reading about all the poems about nature and love.
Yeah, you learn about what the different plants mean, what they mean. Suicided is one of the guide words in the dictionary. It's kind of funny, right?
Suicided. It's one of the ends of one of the pages.
Yeah, it has the guide words at the top, words. You know.
I'd never heard them called the guide words, but I
don't know if that's the... I was in dictionary skills, so...
That sounds right. Guide words.
Let me... L... Okay, this is L. Okay. So, sumac. A material used in tanning and dyeing that consists of dry, powdered leaves and flowers of various sumacs. Okay, that seems still wrong. Any of a family of trees, shrubs, and woody vines of the cashew family that have pinnately compounded leaves turning to brilliant colors in autumn, dioecious flowers, spikes, or loose clusters of red or whitish berries, and in some cases, foliage poisonous to the touch, like poison ivy, poison oak.
Okay, yeah.
Poison sumac.
Thorns, poison, pretty.
I get it now.
Intense.
I didn't know about all that. That really colors
in the sumac.
The image.
Or sumac. It's probably
sumac.
It is sumac.
I've heard sumac.
Garland and airy cap adorn the sumac and the wayside thorn, and clustering spangles lodge and shine in the dark tresses of the pine. The ragged bramble, dwarfed and old, shrinks like a beggar in the cold.
Nice.
In surplice white the cedar stands, and blesses him with priestly hands. Still cheerily the chickadee singeth to me on fence and tree.
Wow.
But in my inmost ear is heard the music of a holier bird. Holier bird. That makes way more sense. Nice. That was a kind of bird at first.
That's, named after Joseph Hollier.
Yeah. And heavenly thoughts as soft and white as snowflakes on my soul alight, clothing with love my lonely heart, healing with peace each bruised part. till all my being seems to be transfigured by their purity. Midwinter.
Yeah.
John Townsend Trowbridge.
The purity does help.
Yeah. The music of a holier bird.
Yeah, that was good.
Sorry, I have the music of a
Vincent
holier
Tree.
bird in my ear right now, so I can't
Vincent Tree.
do it. That was cool.
Alright, I think we're good on that one. I got another book to hit before we hit Arabian Nights.
Nice.
But you take the dictionary.
I'll hold dictionary.
Yeah. Okay, this is a book that I stole from Zach got, and then I've just had it. And he was like, "This will be cool," and I do think it will be cool. It's Edward Lear, The Complete Verse and Other Nonsense.
Well,
I don't really understand. He's a weird guy from a long time ago, but I figured we'd read the introduction and then maybe some of the poems.
yeah, I'd like to get him.
Because he has this. There's a little weird he does little weird drawings, I think.
Is he a cartoonist guy?
He's a poet. He's a nonsense poet. You know?
Yeah.
But then there's like there's weird little drawings, you know.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay. So Edward Lear was born in Highgate, then a pleasant rural village a few miles north of London on the 12th of May, 1812. He was the 20th of 21 children. His father, Jeremiah, was a successful London stockbroker, past master of the Fruiterers' Company, and a free man of the City of London. At the time of Edward's birth, the family was living in quiet middle-class comfort. But when he was about 4, his father's business collapsed. Lear later wrote that Jeremiah served a short prison sentence for fraud and debt. But the evidence for this is conflicting. Certainly the family left Highgate, though they were to return, settling for a while in dingy lodgings in thrice odious New Street on the borders of the city. Dang, so you got to know a lot about London, I guess.
But 20 brothers and sisters.
That's
He
a
had 20
lot.
siblings.
Yeah. He was the past master of the Fruiterers' Company.
Did it say he was the last sibling? The 21st of them?
He's the 20th of 21.
Oh, wow. So he's the second last.
He's not even the youngest.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have that
He doesn't even have that. He's the, penultimate kid.
Yeah. Edward had little to do with his mother and was brought up instead by his eldest sister, Anne. She was 21 years older than he, and after her death, he wrote, "Ever all she was to me was good, and what I should have been unless she had been my mother, I dare not think. Do you remember, dear Fred," she wrote to one of her brothers, "what I used to call you many years ago? Your constant increase in circumference reminds me again of the Norfolk biffin. What a fine specimen of this rounded fruit you must present. I think I see now how you used to run round the room after me when I compared you to the flat spreading Norfolk apple." What the fuck is happening?
Norfolk.
They're talking about some apple. Well, I guess he's the fruiterer. Their dad's the fruiterer, so they're talking about fruit or something.
That makes sense.
The merriment and her loving warmth and goodness did much to balance the distress of Edward's childhood, and the importance of her influence on the future nonsense writer cannot be overemphasized. Yeah, people are not emphasizing enough that he has a silly older sister. Already short-sighted and suffering from asthma, and bronchitis. At the age of about 5 or 6, he developed epilepsy.
Dude.
An illness that affected his life profoundly.
He's stacked up with illnesses.
Yeah, we've been there. We've all been there. I suppose the ever-presence of the demon since I was 7 years old would have prevented happiness under any sort of circumstances, he wrote in his 70th year.
Yeah.
It is a most merciful blessing that I have kept up as I have and have not gone utterly to the bad, mad, sad. His use of the word demon is significant. Yeah, I have not gone to the bad, mad, sad.
The bad, mad, sad.
His use of the word demon is significant, for at this time epilepsy was still associated with the demoniac possession, making it a shameful, lonely disease. "Alas, alas, how fearful a birthright was mine," he wrote, less than a year before his death. "I wonder if others suffer similarly, yet I dare not ask or endeavor to know. In his adult life, none of his many friends ever realized that he was epileptic. But privately, he knew himself to be an oddity, a social outcast, even though the society that cast him out was not aware of it.
Well,
think about that, guys.
No one knows I have epilepsy at the party. No one at this party knows.
But they're still treating me like shit.
Yeah.
When he was about 7, the strange turbulence of his childhood began to show itself in swings of mood and bouts of acute depression, which he called the morbids. Much later, he recalled that the earliest of all morbidness I can recollect, must have been somewhere about 1819, when my father took me to a field near Highgate. There was a rural performance of gymnastic clowns, and...
Oh, that would make me feel very morbid.
Yeah. Wait, I don't even know how to read these.
You say gymnastic clowns?
It said, yeah, gymnastic clowns, and then there's like an ampersand sign, and then a C, and then a period, and then a comma, and then a hyphen, and then another ampersand, a band.
Like it's an emoticon. Yeah, I don't know how to... And C.
Rural performance of gymnastic clowns.
And C.
And a band.
And C and a band.
I think they're just taking out some stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
The music was good. At least it attracted me. And the sunset and twilight I remember as if it were yesterday. And I can recollect crying half the night after the small gaiety broke up. And also suffering for days at the memory of the past scene. His realization that happiness and beauty are transitory and that their going leaves an aching emptiness was a theme to which he returned in his nonsense. Anne and his second sister, Sarah, taught him to read and write, to play the piano, and most importantly of all, to draw and paint.
Kind of raised by his sisters.
Yeah, he's sort of a sister guy.
Yeah.
He was briefly and unhappily at school and had little to do with boys of his own age. But though he would always regret his lack of formal education, he felt that it left him poised on the threshold of knowledge, eager to discover more. In 1822, Sarah married and went to live in Arundel in Sussex, a small country town set between the rolling beauty of the South Downs and the bracing air of the English Channel. As a boy and young man, Edward went frequently to stay with her, building a circle of young friends and discovering there the gentle beauty of downland countryside. From Berry Hill above Arundel, the land falls away into the wide valley of the River Arun, spreading out towards the distant North Downs. The vast, for it is really vast, plain was wondrous to see. He wrote of another view in 1869. Doubtless there is something in space by which the mind, leastways my mind, can work and expand. All his life he sought wide horizons, both the real width and the landscape he explored in his travel and his drawings, and the symbolic width of tolerance expressed in the landscape of his nonsense, the great Gromboolian plain and the hills of the Chankly Bore.
So the landscapes he's really hitting a lot of places, doing a lot of things.
And that influenced his nonsense.
Yeah, his nonsense is...
That's really what makes the nonsense cool.
The Grombooli Plains. Was that Grolix earlier? The stuff that was bleeped out, you think?
No.
Or not like... Is that only used for censorship? Is that only for curse words when they do that?
Yeah. This is just like, etc., I think.
Oh, yeah. ...
So we got a lot of stuff about the biography.
So he's a guy...
Kind of just wanting stuff about him writing. He's a freaky boy.
Yeah, he's a freaky boy. He's got a lot of siblings. Probably doesn't get a lot of time with his parents.
No, he's just hanging out with
his sisters.
The sisters.
Who taught him how to paint. He doesn't have friends who are boys who are his age.
Wait, so there's an Earl? Wait, he's going to live with some Earl or some shit. Wait. Okay, suddenly, wait. Oh, so he's like a butler guy. And he's hanging out with rich guys.
He's a butler guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really pick up on that.
That hadn't happened yet. I'm reading ahead.
Okay, got it. Cool. That's interesting life experience.
Or he's like hanging out with little kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like a rich guy's little kids.
Yeah.
So it says, but in the nursery, it was another matter. Here he was in his element, entertaining the Earl's great-grandchildren, grandnephews, and grandnieces with his nonsense and drawings. When an unidentified friend introduced him to the limerick as a form of verse, leading itself to limitless variety for rhymes and pictures, he set about composing verses and making drawings to which the children responded with uproarious delight and welcome at the appearance of every new absurdity.
He's like doing kids' birthday parties.
Yeah,
and then he's
with his drawings and poems. Lear himself never used the word limerick, a name given to this kind of verse in the late 19th century after he had made it popular. Many ideas have been put forward as to its origins. The most convincing is that it was used extensively by the poetic school Fili na May, which flourished in County Limerick in the mid-18th century. The origin of the verse form itself is lost in the obscurity of oral tradition, and it is here, rather than in the earlier children's writings, that we find the fountainhead of Lear's writing. Nonsense is the breath of my nostrils, he wrote. It is a philosophy as much as a genre. For him, it was a response to this ludicrous whirligig life which one suffers from first and laughs at afterwards. Recorded nonsense goes back as far as classical Greek writing, but it was part of oral tradition long before that. It found its home among the less educated groups in society, including children. Its inversion of natural order, joyful abandon, and unaffected robust humor demonstrated a spiritual freedom and independence which could temporarily ignore the oppression of sad inevitability. In old comedy, Aristophanes' The Birds demonstrates its features most clearly. Here we find characters who step outside society into the created world where normal rules no longer apply. There are woods that open and skies with walls, humans who behave like birds, and birds like humans, play on words, imitation, and parody, meaningless musical refrains, nursery rhymes, singing, dancing, music played on crude rustic instruments, and slapstick.
For a moment, a lot of this is just a description of BoJack Horseman.
So I think that's why you guys should watch it. Mom.
Humans, like birds that act like humans.
Apart from sheer joy in its absurdity, a continuing characteristic of nonsense, Aristophanes used these elements to ridicule society and make political comment, aspects that would later move over into the new art of satire.
So he's not a no-nonsense guy. He's
all nonsense. Yeah,
I'm an all-nonsense guy.
So he's
cool.
He's Mr. Nonsense.
He's kind of freaky. Edward Lear.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him until Zach was like, here's this book. And I was like, oh, this seems really cool.
I hope he looks like the drawing on the front page.
That's what I hope too. I think he's fat. His sister was saying was he's fat.
Fat guy, small hat, big glasses.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope he kind of looks like the guy from Confederacy of Dunces.
Yeah, I think he does. Okay, I'm going to read the last part. I skipped a lot of it. The first book of Lear's nonsense songs is filled with characters who opt out of the ordinary world. Most of them refuse to go back. Their readers, though, must return, but they may bring something with them. I am glad for a season to take an airing beyond the diocese of the strict conscience, writes Charles Lamb, not to live always in the precincts of the law courts, but now and then, for a dream while or so, to imagine a world with no meddling restrictions, to get into recesses whither the hunter cannot follow me. I come back to my cage, and my restraint the fresher and more healthy for it. I wear my shackles more contentedly, for having respired the breath of imaginary freedom. In his limericks, Lear has taken us to offshore islands of his nonsense world. With songs, he carries us to its mainland, where the horizons are wide and clear. This world welcomes anyone, however different. It welcomes nature's oddest creatures, the pelican, the kangaroo, the daddy longlegs, thereby setting an immediate standard of perfectly proper strangeness.
Seems like he would have really liked Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
And
they liked him.
Flapjack and all of it, yeah.
He's random.
He's kind of making
He's random.
His worlds seem kind of Chowder-esque and all this.
To children who knew that they could never attain the unreal perfection demanded of them, such a world, the creation of a man who saw himself as an oddity, must have represented a haven. I am what I am, proclaims the Scroobius Pip, and that is enough, for this is a place where they can be themselves, expressing their freedom in music and dance. No stranger group can ever have gathered than those who came together on the Quangle Wangle's hat. And yet, at night by the light of the mulberry moon, they danced to the flute of the blue baboon, on the broad green leaves of the crumpety tree, and all were as happy could be, with the Quangle Wangle Quee.
Wow.
Lear wrote that one finds that constant quiet sympathy is not only one of the most lovable qualities, but one of the rarest.
Constant quiet sympathy.
Constant quiet sympathy, yeah. But in his nonsense world, it is commonplace.
Of course.
But it could not last. In his last nonsense song, The Dong with a Luminous Nose, we find a land where awful darkness and silence reign.
Oh, no.
For all its merriment, one of the characteristics of pure nonsense is detachment. Here, it has broken down. Real emotion has intruded, bringing with it the threat of vulnerability and loss. And as jumblies sail away, the dong is left forever alone. It is an experience of rejection that Lear knew very well, and from which he sought all his life to escape. For a while, his created world had offered sanctuary, but in the end, desolation and loneliness triumphed even there. Whoa. After 1876, although he occasionally tried to write new songs and his letters to responsive correspondents were still filled with absurdity, only the autobiographical poems, How Pleasant to Know Mr. Lear, Some Incidents in the Life of My Uncle Arlie, and the second part of Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos were successful. But his place as the father of nonsense was assured, and he was delighted when friends sent him cuttings from the February 1886 issue of the Pall Mall magazine, in which John Ruskin, writing on his choice of books, said, "Surely the most beneficent and innocent of all books yet produced for families is the Book of Nonsense, with its corollary carols, inimitable and refreshing and perfect in rhythm. I really don't know any author to whom I am so grateful for my idle self as Edward Lear. I shall put him first of my 100 authors." The companion of Lear's old age, Foss the cat, who has no end of a tail because it has been cut off, died September 1887. His master survived only a few months, dying in San Remo on the 29th of January, 1888.
It's crazy that he wrote this, one really dark piece, and then people looking back are like, and then his disposition changed.
Then he didn't write anymore after that.
Yeah. But the writing they do have after that, they're like, he's still a little weird.
Well, he's not doing
it's
full
letters
nonsense.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's not full nonsense.
But there's smidges of nonsense.
Well, he's doing, yeah, of course. Writing to Lear in 1886, Emily Tennyson had said, "However solitary your life has for many years been, you must not forget that to you is given the precious gift of peopling the lives of many, not only of this generation, but of generations to come, with good and beautiful things. Yes. And thoughts to say of your own life, of which so many think a loving admiration very precious to them." These were sentiments endorsed by his closest friends, Franklin Lushington, who wrote after Lear's death, "I have never known a man who deserved more love for his goodness of heart and his determination to do right, and I don't think any human being knew him better than I did. There was never a more generous or more unselfish soul." So he's really chill and nice. So just know that if you don't like the poems, he's really nice.
He's a good ghost character to come back and he meets Mordecai and Rigby, the ghost of Edward Lear.
Yeah, he's the king of nonsense. Dang. Oh yeah, you should read this one. So yeah, I don't know what order these are in. But this one's To Miss Lear on her birthday. It seems
To Miss Lear?
But it goes to the next.
Yeah.
It's pretty long.
To Miss Lear on her birthday. Dear and very dear relation, time who flies without cessation, who never allows procrastination, who never yields to resubbation, who nor ever stops for respiration, has brought again in round rotation the once a yearly celebration of the day of thy creation, when another augmentation of a whole year in numeration will be joined in annexation. To thy former agglomeration of 5-7 years in calculation, and in this very blessed occasion, a thought has crossed my imagination, that I neath an obligation to make thee a presentation, so 'tis the custom of our nation, of any trifling small donation, just to express my gratulation, because of thy safe peregration. Do you want to check peregration?
I don't know if they're words.
Peregration?
I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I guess some of them are words.
How do you spell it?
Peregration.
Pera. Pera.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this isn't a word, I'm not...
Some of them are words, but some of them are definitely made up. To one more long year's termination.
That
is a word.
Okay, yeah. Perag.
R-A-T.
Oh, A-T?
Yeah, P-E-R-A-G-R-A-T-I-O-N.
Right, but I'm just saying, there's not even any words that go P-E-R-A-G. There's no words.
Not a word then.
There's no words that are
just
spelled.
to express
even close to that.
Anyways, my birthday song. Just to express my gratulation because of thy safe peregration. To one, what does peregrate mean? What would it mean in this context?
Safe peregration. Just being born or something.
Yeah. To one more long year's termination, but having made an indagation as to my moneyed situation.
Nice.
What must have been my indignation, mortification, and vexation, I tell you sans equivocation, I found through dire depauperation a want of power, my sweet relation, to practice my determination. So as the fates ordained frustration, I shortly ceased my lamentation, and though it caused much improbation, I set to work with resignation, to torture my imagination, to spin some curious dication, to merit perhaps thine approbation, to at least to meet thine acceptation, and after much deliberation, and amongst my thoughts much altercation, I fixed that every termination to every line should end in ation. Now, since I've given this explanation, deign to receive my salutation, and let me breathe an aspiration to thee this day of thy creation. So he's kind of talking about how he came up with the idea for the poem.
Right, and he seems kind of trapped.
Yeah, he's kind of trapped. He does seem trapped.
He's like, and I am trapped. I can't stop.
First, then, I wish thee, dear relation, many a sweet reduplication of this thy natal celebration, and mayst thou from this first lunation unto thy vital termination be free from every derogation by fell diseases contamination, whose catalogic calculation completely thwarts enumeration, emaciation,
nice.
fomentanian, with dementation, deplumation, and many more in computation, for these are but an adumbration. And mayst thou never have occasion for any surgic operation or medical administration, sanguification,
nice.
defalcation, cauterization, amputation, rebarbation, scarification, and more various designation. May thou keep... So he's kind of wishing well on you and hoping you don't get any of these.
Right.
He
invented slam poetry.
He's kind of slamming right now. Mayst thou be kept in preservation for every sort of vitiation, by evil's dark depreciation, intoxication, trucidation, from malversation, desecration, from giving away to execration,
Nice.
And every sinful machination.
Yes.
Yeah, that's machination. And in thy daily occupation, whether it be discalcation or any ministration, mayst thou not meet the least frustration, mayst thou withstand all obtrectation, thrown out in mar reputation, mayst thou be free from altercations, or with thy words or thy relations, and though it wants corrobation, yet not quite void of confirmation, if as reports give intimation, you are about to change your station. May every peaceful combination of bliss await your situation. In matrimonial elevation, mayst thou be loved with veneration, by none be held in detestation, and toward thy life advesperation, when most are prone to blank. There's just a blank in there. I think they don't know the word or something. When most are prone to blank,
Whoa.
their feeble limbs to desiccation, their strength through years, it was bleeped. Their strength through years to deliquation, their minds and brains to conquasation, their failing speech to aberration, their weird taste to nauseation, then mayst thou, O dear relation, always receive refurlation, thy frame imbibe reanimation, thy reason hold her wonted station, and keep her prudent scintillation, till thou descendest by slow gradation.
Nice.
Unto thy final destination. Nice. The long last home of all creation. This is my beloved aspiration. Believe it ever, dear relation. Sincere without exaggeration in every individualation. Sanguine in each anticipation. And kindly meet in perpetration. Finis.
Fini.
Dang. That's the whole thing.
Imagine if your brother wrote you that.
That would be
You'd
so
be
nice.
you'd be like, all right, we gotta put him somewhere.
Yeah,
he needs to go to special class.
Pretty crazy.
He needs to be in special class.
Graduation. My favorite Kanye album, Graduation. Haitian. To the cause I donate for the Haitians.
These are weird.
Haitian, racing, determination. That was pretty nonsensical.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Are they all letters?
He said something he was gonna was gonna give you money or something for your birthday. He said that at some point. He's like, and I have some money and I have a job and I'm gonna pay you money. It's your birthday, but I'm writing you this instead or something. And so I have to come up with all these words that end with shun because that I don't have. Maybe it's because he didn't have money.
Yeah.
That would make sense, but so hard to tell.
So these are the ones with the early limericks.
Just some limerick stuff.
It's mostly limericks, but there's little
Drawings.
drawings. I was trying to find one.
That did seem like a limerick. That really long poem.
Yeah, he's pretty freaky.
Awful hot coffee pot.
Right. Okay, this one's called She Sits Upon Her Bulbul. She sits upon her bulbul, though the long, long hours of night, and o'er the dark horizon gleams the yashmak's fitful light. The lone yurt sails slowly down the deep and craggy dell, and from his lofty nest loud screams the white-plumed asphodel.
Asphodel.
Yeah. Okay, this one's called Oh Digby, My Dear. Oh, Digby, my dear, it is perfectly clear that my mind will be horridly vexed if you happen to write by ill luck to invite me to dinner on Saturday next. For this I should sigh at that Mrs. T. Wyatt already has booked me, oh dear. So I could not send answer to you, I'm your man, sir, your loving fat friend, Edward Lear.
Nice. That one was fun.
Yeah, he does. A lot of them are
He
like
does
letter
letters,
type
yeah.
shit
It
that
said he
they've
did
just
letters.
been. It's all just letter type stuff.
He writes very fun letters to people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sort of a playful letter writer kind of guy.
Yeah, my uncle. I was talking to my uncle at Christmas, and he was like saying that he has this friend named Digby, who lives in New Zealand.
Never heard of it. I know Rigby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Digby.
I was watching a movie last night, and there was a guy named Rigby in it.
Well,
and I was like, "That's crazy." Nonsense botany.
Nonsense.
Oh, here's Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos. Okay, I'm gonna read Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos, and then you can, do whatever you want.
Go for it.
Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos climbed to the top of a wall, and they sate to watch the sunset sky and to hear the Nupiter Pifkin cry, and the biscuit buffalo call. They took up a roll and some chamomile tea, and both were as happy could be, till Mrs. Discobolos said, "Oh, WXYZ. It has to come into my head. Suppose we should happen to fall, darling Miss Discobolos. Suppose we should fall down flumpity, just like pieces of stone."
Flumpity.
Yeah. "Onto the thorns or into the moat. What would come of your new green coat? And might you not break a bone? It never occurred to me before that perhaps we shall never go down any more." And Mrs. Discobolos said, "Oh, WXYZ. What put
Zed.
into your head?" Oh,
Yeah, I
right.
think it's
Dang, you're
British.
right. It has to rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, WXYZ, what put it into your head to climb up this wall, my own darling Mr. Discobolos?" Mr. Discobolos answered, At first it gave me pain, and I felt my ears turn perfectly pink, when your exclamation made me think we might never get down again. But now I believe it is wiser far to remain forever just where we are." And Mr. Discobolos said, "Oh, WXYZ. It has just come into my head. We shall never go down again, dearest Mrs. Discobolos." So Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos stood up and began to sing, "Far from hurry and strife, here we will pass the rest of life. Ding-a-dong, ding-ding, ding-a-dong, ding-dong, ding. We want no knives, nor forks, nor chairs, no tables, nor carpets, nor household cares. From worry of life we fled, oh, WXYZ. There's no more trouble ahead, sorrow, or any such thing for Mr. and Mrs. Discobolos."
Dearest Mrs. Discobolos.
Yeah, I don't understand what their deal is.
I didn't get the vibe between that couple.
Yeah, I don't really know. They're just foreign, maybe?
Yeah,
Or...
they're like, that makes sense. Are there any other freaky names?
Yeah, let me see if we can get some...
Discobolos. Like, Greek.
These are all just the limericks. You could hit some limericks, I guess.
They could do a bunch of small ones. If there are any big ones.
Limericks. This is from More Nonsense.
Limericks published in More Nonsense. There was a young person of Bantry who frequently slept in the pantry.
Yeah.
When disturbed by the mice, she appeased them with rice. That judicious young person of Bantry. This is just person of Bantry. That's kind of what it's called. There was an old man at a junction whose feelings were wrung with compunction. When they said the train's gone, he explained how forlorn, but remained on the rails of the junction. There was an old man who, when little, fell casually into a kettle, But growing too stout, he could never get out, so he passed all his life in that kettle. So a lot of these use the same words.
Yeah, maybe try a different.
Just kind of remind me
Try a
of,
long one.
Yeah.
Try to get a long one.
On top of the crumpety tree.
Oh, we finally got the crumpety tree.
The Quangle. This is called the Quangle Wangle's hat.
I said quangle.
Quangle?
I think it's quangle, like
You're
triangle.
probably right. You're right. The Quangle Wangle's hat. That makes
Yeah.
more sense. On the top of the crumpety tree, the Quangle Wangle sat, but his face you could not see on account of his beaver hat. For his hat was 102 feet wide, with
Whoa.
ribbons and bibbins on every side. Bibbins. And bells and buttons and loops and lace, so that nobody could ever see the face of the Quangle Wangle Quee.
Quangle wangle quee.
Quangle Wangle Quee. The Quangle Wangle said to himself on the crumpety tree, "Jam and jelly and bread are the best of food for me."
Dr. Seuss is pretty much just like, what
Kind
if
of
this
this
guy
guy.
was racist?
Yeah. He's pretty much doing exactly what Seuss has been. We've pretty much the whole time been doing a Seuss thing. But the longer I live on this
Seuss is-
crumpety tree, the plainer than ever it seems to me
This
that
guy's never met any foreign guys, but I guess.
very few people come this way, and that life on the whole is far from gay, said the Quangle Wangle Quee. But there came to the crumpety tree Mr. and Mrs. Canary, and they said, "Did you ever see any spot so charmingly airy? May we build a nest on your lovely hat? Mr. Quangle Wangle, grant us that. Oh, please let us come and build a nest of
Please
whatever
grant us
material
that.
suits
Please
you
grant us
best.
that.
Mr. Quangle Wangle Quee.
Please, Mr. Quangle wangle quee.
Please let us build a nest on your hat. Please."
Okay.
And besides, to the crumpety tree came the stork, the duck, and the owl, the snail and the bumblebee, the frog and the fimblefowl, the fimblefowl with a corkscrew leg, and all of them said, "We humbly beg, we may build our homes on your lovely hat, Mr. Quangle Wangle, grant us that, Mr.
Please.
Quangle Wangle Quee." And the golden grouse came there, and the golden grouse came there, and the pobble who has no toes, and the small Olympian bear, and the dong with the luminous nose,
Not the dong.
and the blue baboon who played the flute, and the orient calf from the land of Toot, and the addery squash and the bisky bat all came and built on the lovely hat of the Quangle Wangle Quee. And the Quangle Wangle said to himself on the crumpety tree, "When all these creatures move, what a wonderful noise there'll be." And at night, by the light of the mulberry moon, they danced to the flute of the blue baboon on the broad green leaves of the crumpety tree, and all were as happy could be with the Quangle Wangle Quee. That's the whole thing.
The Quangle wangle tree.
And the Quangle Wangle Quee. And Quangle Wangle Wangle Quee. And the crumpety tree.
This one's called Papa Once Went to Greece. Papa once went to Greece, and there, I understand, he saw no end of lovely spots about that lovely land. He talks about these spots in Greece to both Mama and me, yet the spots of Greece upon my dress he can't abear to see. I cannot make it out at all. If ever on my frock they see the smallest spot of Greece, it gives them quite a shock. Henceforth, therefore, to please them both, these spots of Greece no more shall be upon my frock at all, nor on my pinafore.
Wow.
That's more of just a play on
Play on
Greece.
Greece, yeah.
It
Greece
says
and
Greece the country. It doesn't
But
use the
it's-
other word ever.
Yeah.
Should I hit the pobble? The pobble.
We were learning about the pobble last time. It said some stuff about the pobble.
Oh.
What's that other one?
This one, so there's one called The Story of the Pobble Who Has No Toes and Princess Bink. And the Princess Bink. And then this one's called The Pobble Has No Toes.
So it seems like the pobble is a kind of a character he introduces in his world of nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm going to okay, you should maybe read those, but I want to read the Akond of Swat.
That looked cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try the Akond of Swat. Who or why or which or what is the Akond of Swat? Is he tall or short or dark or fair? Does he sit on a sofa or a stool or chair or squat?
Oh.
The Akond of Swat? Is he wise or foolish, young or old? Does he drink his soup and his coffee cold or hot? The Akond of Swat?
Sounds like an Arab guy.
I know, he's like mostly like trying to be. Oh yeah, look there. I think that's gonna be.
Oh yeah. I think it is sort of an Arab guy.
He is guy.
Yeah.
He is for sure an Arab guy.
Yeah.
Does he sing or whistle, jabber or talk? And when riding abroad, does he gallop or walk or trot? The Akand of Swat. Does he wear a turban, a fez, or a hat?
Yep.
Does he sleep on a mattress, a bed, or a mat?
For sure.
Or a cot? The Akand of Swat. When he writes a copy in round hand size, does he cross his T's and finish his I's with a dot? The Akand of Swat. Can he write a letter concisely clear without a speck or smudge or smear? Or blot? The Akand of Swat. Do his people like him extremely well, or do they, whenever they can, rebel or plot? The Akand of
Bashar
Swat.
al-Assad.
Exactly, yeah. We found out that Bashar al-Assad has come out as the Akand of Swat. Do his people like it? Oh, right, no, yeah. If he catches them, then, either old or young, does he have them chopped in pieces or hung? Or shot?
Yeah.
The Akand of Swat?
Yeah.
Does he people prig in the lanes or parks? Or even at times when days are dark? Garrot?
Gyat.
Oh, the Akand of Swat.
Does he have a gyat? The Akand of Swat.
Garrot.
Yeah, I see.
What is the...
Garrot.
Is that the thing where you choke people with it? I think it's like
maybe,
a wire
like a
you
wire
choke
you put
people
around their
with.
neck.
Isn't that a
See
garrot?
if that's in the... Garrot.
With 2 R's and 2 T's and an E.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's the iron collar.
Cool.
Iron collar.
Does he study the wants of his own dominion? Or does he care for public opinion? A jot? The Akand of Swat? To amuse his mind, do his people show him pictures or anyone's last new poem? Or what? For the Akand of Swat. At night, he suddenly screams and wakes. Do they bring him only a few small cakes? Or a lot? For the Akand of Swat. Does he live on turnips, tea, or tripe? Does he like his shawl to be marked with a stripe?
Definitely.
Or a dot?
Oh.
The Akand of Swat. Does he like to lie on his back in a boat like the lady who lived in that isle remote? Shallot? The Akand of Swat. Is he quiet or always making a fuss? Is his steward a Swiss or a Swede or a Russ? Or a Scot? The Akand of Swat. Does he like to sit by the calm blue wave, or to sleep and snore in a dark green cave? Or a grot? The Akand of Swat. Does he drink small beer from a silver jug? Does he drink small beer? Do you guys have any small beer?
Small beer?
Small beer? This is my son, Small Beer.
Small beer.
Small beer, get in here.
Small beer, come here. Small beer.
Small beer. Does he drink small beer from a silver jug? Or a bowl? Or a glass? Or a cup? Or a mug? Or a pot?
I had a feeling.
The Akand of
There
Swat?
might have been one more.
Does he beat his wife with a gold-topped pipe when she lets the gooseberries grow too ripe? Or rot? The Akand of Swat? Does he wear a white tie when he dines with friends and tie it neatly with a bow with ends? Or a knot? The Akand of Swat. Does he like new cream or hate mince pies? When he looks at the sun, does he wink his eyes? Or not? The Akand of Swat.
Does he bleed?
Yeah, does he not bleed? Does he teach his subjects to roast and bake? Does he sail about on an inland lake in a yacht? The Akand of Swat. Someone or nobody knows I wot. Who or which or why or what is the Akand of Swat?
I don't know if it's the same place, but there is a city in Pakistan called Swat. Swat, like
It's gotta
spelled
be the
exactly
same
like
place.
that, right?
It's
So
gotta
it's
be the
probably
same place.
and Akand is ruler, Like a religious ruler. So he's like a religious ruler from Pakistan.
Yeah. So you're the Akhund Swat.
I'm sort of the Akhund Swat.
Dang.
Bashar al-Assad.
Wait, these seem good. These might be racist, but I think we should do them.
I think
these are all. They keep saying that they're Indian poems.
Let's just say they're racial.
Yeah, they're race related.
Race related. Race adjacent.
Try some of these out. Try that one or these, or there's another Indian poem.
The Atalik Ghazi. I think it's Ghazi because it's about to rhyme everything with E. The Atalik Ghazi had a wife whose name was G, and a lady proud was she while residing by the sea. Said the Atalik Ghazi, who resided by the sea, "My own beloved G, I am suffering from a flea which has settled on my knee."
Dang.
Said the Begum lady G, who resided by the sea, "Why, what is that to me? Do you think I'll catch a flea that has settled on your knee?" Maybe. I added the maybe. That's not in there.
Nice. That's good.
But maybe you would.
Maybe.
Maybe you could try at least.
Yeah.
This is just Indian limericks.
Maybe we'll wait. Let's wait. I think we should do. So what I was thinking, we'll come back to this next
Okay.
with the Indian poems.
Wow.
Then, because we'll keep us wanting more, because we found some good ones.
Yeah.
But then I think we should do a front porch tale,
Wow.
and then close it out. So these are front porch tales.
Paul Harvey Jr. Front Porch Tales.
That's the forward.
That's the name of the
it's
forward.
Philip Gully. So he's Philip Gully is the pastor of Irvington Friends Quaker Meeting in Indianapolis. His essays have been published in the Indianapolis News and Indianapolis Star. They have been quoted by Paul Harvey. Philip Gully is married and has 2 sons.
Cool.
So he's a Quaker.
So he's a Quaker.
He's a Quaker. What would be some good ones?
These are porch tales?
These are porch tales, yeah.
Kind of like tales you tell on a porch.
Yeah, I guess so. Just chill. Just kind of chill life lessons.
Friendly stuff.
Okay, this section's just called Observations.
That sounds good.
Let's see. We got the television vocation. You should read this one. Seeking and Finding. You should try that one out.
Seeking and Finding. My father is a leader of men. He exudes horse sense.
So yeah, this guy's like funny and maybe
When guidance is needed, my father's telephone rings.
you gotta be chill.
So when the Danville Mushroom Hunters Association was looking for leadership, they turned to my father.
The mushrooms.
The Danville Mushroom Hunters Association.
He's joking at the beginning.
Yeah. You must be our president, Norm, they said. Everyone respects you. People turn to you for advice. Besides, you have a key to Lee Comer's cabin, and we're hoping you could go in there this weekend. Okay. The nomination was made, the vote taken, 5-0, a veritable landslide. They left for the cabin on a Friday night, stopping on the way to purchase a gallon of wine in obedience to St. Paul's advice to young Timothy. Ordinarily, these are not religious men, except for when it comes to 1 Timothy 5:23. Then they are fundamentalists to the core. So this is some sort of wine thing in the Bible?
I guess it doesn't tell us more.
No, it doesn't go on.
Okay, it's 1 Timothy 5:3.
It's Timothy 5, yeah, 1 Timothy 5:23. It doesn't talk about it after that.
Timothy.
It's kind of those ones you're supposed to know.
5:23. Drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake and thine own infirmities.
I'm a fundamentalist.
Yeah, it says don't drink water.
Yeah, don't drink water, drink wine.
Drink wine, don't drink water.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we agree. We're drinking wine here.
Dad woke them up at 4:30 the next morning. Any mushroom hunter worth his salt knows that alone of all the mushroom family, the morel is at its finest in the early morning hours. Once the sun rises, the morel loses its appeal. It's a nocturnal mushroom. When the sun hits a morel, it's done for. But if you pick it while it's still wet with morning dew and get it into briny water within an hour or so, you will enjoy an unrivaled delicacy. You have to plan accordingly. That's cool. I never knew
that. I was watching something where they were gathering mushrooms in the woods, and I was like, I would never eat those.
Right.
I'd be so scared of dying.
Yeah. You just get really sick. You might die, but you would definitely maybe get sick. But it's just, I didn't know you had to go at a specific time. I didn't know that
they have to. Yeah, there's so much know-how involved, and it's just like, how did y'all find this?
The mycology stuff is crazy. Like, I didn't know that when the sun comes, if the sun touches it, it like
they are there in the morning and not
out.
there in the afternoon. Yeah,
I guess that's how it works.
I've noticed that.
I've never noticed that. I've never known that the mushrooms go away and then come back.
If it's all sunny.
Yeah. The first mistake many mushroom hunters make is their failure to organize. Fortunately, Dad came prepared. To begin with, we need a vision statement, he said. Every organization worth its salt has one. Second time they've said worth its salt. I would like to suggest Semper Fidelis, or Always Faithful. Dad watched a lot of Marine movies. They voted. I really like the way he moves things along. Really puts in like anecdotal, quick shots. It was unanimous.
Pastor style. Not
a person disagreed. Mostly because their heads hurt too much from heating St. Paul the night before. Nice, they were all hungover. After breakfast, they went into the woods. The morel mushroom is one of nature's most elusive quarries. Buckskin-clad men at one with nature have been reduced to tears in their search for this holy grail of the mushroom family. Children, however, have been known to stumble upon entire acres of this delicacy, only to return as adults and not even find the smallest spore of a morel. Wow. The memory of it haunts them in their sleep.
How do you spell moral?
M-O-R-E-L.
Cool.
Morel?
I don't know.
I know. The first day's search proved fruitless, as did the next day's. They went home more or less moralless. Dad, being a leader of men, called an emergency meeting of the DMHA that week. Emergency meeting, the DMHA. That was quick. He sat at the head of the table, pondering their failure. One of the members ventured an idea. Maybe next time we should go when the snow is off the ground. Don't bother me, Dad replied. I'm thinking, and what I'm thinking is that we need a new vision statement. You can do just about anything with a good vision statement. I forgot. I should have made him kind of southern at the beginning.
Yeah, he's from Indiana, so
yeah, that's true.
People, they can talk like anything there.
That's true. How about semper investigare nunquam invenire? Dad thought he knew Latin from watching movies about Latin America.
What?
They didn't explain what that one meant. Sounds good, Norm, they said. What's it mean? Oh, there it is. It's Latin, he says. It means always searching, never finding. That being something they could live up to, the vote was unanimous. That's funny. They could live up to that. We could do that.
We could do that.
Always searching, never finding.
Never finding. What's the...
In the Bible, it talks about knocking and the door will be opened. I've met some folks for whom that is true.
Right.
Folks who stumble upon the holy like children upon morals.
Wow.
But for every one of those happy finders, I've met a weary knocker. Lifelong seekers whose knuckles are bloody raw in their quest for the divine.
There you go.
Damn, I've never thought about knockers whose knuckles are bloody raw in the quest for the divine.
Knockers.
Just being like a guy, you knock on so many doors, your knuckles are bloody. Being like a canvasser for
this set of knockers.
For Bernie, yeah.
My set of knockers. My
knockers. My knockers.
I call these my knockers.
My knockers. Yeah, I got 2 knockers right here.
2 sets.
Left and right. Sometimes they come by to talk. They flop down in a rocker and ask why God seems silent. I never know what to tell them, other than to keep on looking, that God works at God's pace. I point out that sometimes good things come easy, but not usually. So it's a matter of persevering, of not discouraging, of organizing your life to increase your chances of finding. I didn't learn that from the Bible. I learned it from my dad while traipsing through light dappled woods in search of the Holy Grail. Wow.
These are good, right?
That was really good, yeah. That was awesome. I learned a lot about the Danville Mushroom Hunters Association, DMHA. That was cool. It was informative. It was...
Yeah, he's funny.
He's funny.
Okay, this one's called Exercise. One consequence of sedentary modern life is that 73% of us are overweight. As I write this, I have to put my belt out a notch and unsnap my pants. My waist has increased 3 inches in 6 years, and I've gained 15 pounds, most of it in my stomach, which makes me resemble a snake who's ingested a small mammal. Worse yet, my wife isn't overweight. I wish she were.
That's awesome.
Then she would pile food on my plate and say, "Eat, eat," like they do in those Italian movies. Instead, she flits around in a leotard, exhorting me to exercise. Between you and me, I'd rather be fat.
That's awesome.
When I was younger, I exercised to build a muscular, chiseled physique that would attract young women.
Yeah, the picture in the back of the book makes him look kind of hot, or like...
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah, just like not... He looks really normal.
He just has a pot belly, is what he was saying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be in the picture of just his head.
Yeah. Got a thin neck, though.
Chiseled physique that would attract young women. This has its equivalent in the animal kingdom with the fire-red cardinal and the strutting peacock. And it worked. Every time I went somewhere, flocks of birds followed me home. Then I married and stopped exercising. You probably think I stopped exercising because I'd managed to attract a mate and no longer felt it necessary to keep myself fit and attractive. You might be right. Whatever the case, I did not lace a jogging shoe or curl a barbell for 12 whole years.
You might be right. Shit. Now that I think about it,
you might be right.
You might be right.
During that time, we had children. Doctors have long contended that bearing children causes weight gain. It's true. I've gained 10 pounds since our children were born. In the winter of my 35th year, I took up exercise. This I did at the urging of my wife, who pointed out that if I continue to expand at my current weight, I will weigh 475 pounds by my 70th birthday. So, 3 mornings a week, I go to the basement and pummel myself into shape on a giraffe-like machine called a Nordic track. Next, I lift weights. After 1 month, a faint burp of a bicep has appeared. Then I come upstairs and eat 3 pieces of bacon, 2 bowls of sugar smacks, and a cinnamon roll. Plus, I take a vitamin. Proper nutrition being important to us fitness buffs.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty funny.
He's really funny, yeah.
Exercise, I'm discovering, is in no way fun. Its advocates speak in reverent tones of the post-exercise glow. All I feel is itchy and sweaty and achy. Exercise is the price we pay for inventing labor-saving devices. Our ancestors cut firewood by hand and chased their food through the woods. Sometimes their food chased them. Life was exciting back then, and maybe people were a lot thinner, probably because of consumption. They also didn't smile when their pictures were being taken, but that had something to do with corsets. The worst thing that happened for exercise fans was when Jim Fixx died. Remember him?
Jim Fixx?
Jim Fixx with 2 X's, yeah. He jogged a lot and went around the country telling other people what was good for them. Then one day, his heart attacked him, and he died.
Is that the guy from Forrest Gump or something?
Maybe, something like that, at least. His doctor said if he hadn't been exercising, he'd have died 10 years earlier. That's the kind of thing you'd expect a doctor to say. I was hoping a doctor would come out and say, if Jim Fixx had stayed home, watched TV, and ate butter pecan ice cream, he'd still be alive today.
Wow.
The Bible has a lot of exercise language in it.
He said that? That's
Yeah.
right? Okay. Keep going, yeah.
Wait, did you find who Jim Fixx?
You're
looking up who Jim Fixx. He's a famous jogger.
He was an
apparently.
author. He wrote the best-selling book, The Complete Book
Jog.
of Running.
How to Jog. Or
He
whatever.
invented jogging.
He's Mr. Jog.
He made us jog. And he died of a heart attack while jogging.
Great.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's, I don't think he's in...
He's not.
Comedian Bill Hicks frequently made Fix the subject of a stand-up routine. For humorously suggesting that Fix's death while jogging should be an argument against exercise. Hicks was a heavy smoker for many years and died from pancreatic cancer. Yeah.
We all know Bill
And
Hicks
portions of that routine got plagiarized by Dennis Leary.
and this guy.
Yeah. And Australian band The Fovs reference Hicks' material in the song "I'm Jim Fix and I'm Dead Now." Oh, that sounds good. Play that out on the pod.
I'm Jim Fix and I'm dead now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the legacy part. It's pretty cool. Okay, yeah. So it's in the Bible.
There's a lot of exercise language. The Bible has a lot of exercise language in it. Paul speaks of the Christian faith as running the race and pressing on toward the goal, though I don't get the impression Paul was big on exercise. He was too busy getting knocked off horses and thrown in jail. I'm betting the exercise talk was Paul's way of reminding us that Christian life requires no small amount of work and discipline. A lot of talk these days about grace and how God loves and forgives us. I believe that. I also believe that while we live by grace, a daily dose of soul exercise never hurts. Besides, think of the benefits. If we're too busy praying, we won't have time to jog. Rats.
Rats.
There you go.
Exercise. That was good.
Do some spiritual exercise instead
Of course. Instead of
real exercise.
in the basement where your wife wants you.
The Nordic track.
On the Nordic track.
I got the Nordic track going.
CrossFit. Wow. He's good.
Yeah.
He's kind of curmudgeon in that one. He's kind of
yeah,
like
I think he's
curmudgeon.
he's one of those guys that's like really likable. And
Yeah.
if guys like that say something like
He was
fucked
never
up,
too,
it's really
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, and he was
If
never
it's like slightly fucked up, where you're like, oh
he
my
wasn't
god,
too mean to his wife. He was
yeah, he's
just
always
like,
really nice to her. He's like, she's too skinny.
she's too hot and nice, and she's
Yeah.
always trying to take care of me.
I hate that.
Yeah, she's always wearing that leotard.
Yeah, she sounds so hot.
Yeah, but he's got the pot belly.
We gotta look up how hot she is. All
Philip
right,
Gully.
we did it.
Boop boop boop.